Um, you know that feeling when you walk into someone's home and something just clicks, not about wealth, not about taste, something deeper. Today I want to share a framework that changed how I understand people, including myself. Here's the key insight. Your home's condition doesn't reveal who you are, it reveals where you are. Think of your living space as a psychological diary. But here's what most people miss. We're not reading the current page. We're reading the handwriting changes between pages. When nothing bothers you anymore, meet Sarah. When I visited her apartment last spring, there was a coffee mug on the table from 2 weeks ago. Not hidden, not forgotten, just there. When I gently mentioned it, she glanced over with this flat expression and said, "Oh yeah." No embarrassment, no explanation. Just acknowledgement. This isn't laziness. This is what emotional numbness looks like in physical form. When you're running on survival mode for too long, your brain starts turning off non-essential systems. The ability to notice your surroundings, your nervous system has reclassified that as luxury processing. The dust isn't the problem. The dust is the message. I'm so depleted that I've stopped registering my own environment. The gap between knowing and doing. Then there's Marcus. Every time someone's coming over, he'll text, "Sorry in advance, my place is a disaster." When you arrive, he immediately starts, I know, I really need to clean this up." Here's the difference. Marcus sees the mess. He feels something about it. Shame, frustration, that nagging sense of failure. But there's this canyon between intention and action that he can't seem to cross. This is depression wearing the mask of procrastination. He's got enough emotional bandwidth to feel bad about it, but not enough executive function to do anything about it. It's like his brain is a car with a working alarm system, but a dead battery. People often misread this as not caring. It's the opposite. He cares so much it's paralyzing him. The sudden storm of cleaning. Here's where it gets interesting, because cleaning can mean completely opposite things depending on how it happens. I watched my friend Jamie come out of a really dark period. One Saturday, she cleaned her bathroom sink. Just the sink. Not the whole bathroom, not the counter, just the sink. Then she watched TV for 2 hours. The next weekend, she organised one kitchen drawer. This is what recovery looks like. Small, boundaried actions. She's testing. Do I still have agency? Can I still shape my environment? But I've also seen the other kind. My colleague David, during a particularly stressful project, suddenly deep-cleaned his entire apartment at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. He organised his spice rack alphabetically. He wiped down the inside of his microwave with a toothbrush. By 3 a.m., he was refolding his sock drawer. Same action, cleaning, but completely different psychological states. Jamie was recovering her sense of self. David was trying to control his external world because his internal world felt like it was spinning out. The difference? Jamie stopped when she was tired. David couldn't stop until everything was perfect. The rhythm of being okay. You know what mental health actually looks like in a home? It's not perfection. It's rhythm without rigidity. Think about your friend whose place is generally tidy, but sometimes has a few dishes in the sink, who has a regular cleaning day, but if they're exhausted that week, they just don't. And crucially, they don't spiral into self-hatred about it. That flexibility is everything. The house serves them. They don't serve the house. It's like the difference between someone who exercises because they enjoy it versus someone who exercises because they'll feel like a failure if they don't. The museum of control. Now walk with me into another scenario. You visit someone's apartment, it looks like a furniture catalogue. No mail on the counter, no book left open on the couch. The hand soap is perfectly parallel to the faucet. Your first thought might be, wow, they really have it together. But here's what I've learned. When a space has no evidence of living, it often means emotions aren't allowed to exist there either. I knew someone like this. Her apartment was immaculate. Always. You could never tell if she'd been home for 5 minutes or 5 hours. At first, I thought it was impressive discipline. Eventually, I realised she couldn't tolerate any reminder that she had feelings, needs, or mess inside her. Every external trace had to be erased immediately. Her home wasn't organised. It was sterilised. The truth in the details. Here's a trick that's never failed me. Notice what someone cleans first when they start taking care of their space again. Some people start with the floor, sweeping, vacuuming. That's often about fundamental safety, getting grounded again. Others begin with their desk or workspace. They're trying to reclaim their sense of competence and productivity. Some people start with their bed, clean sheets, organized pillows. That's self-care. That's saying, I deserve to rest in comfort. And then there are those who start with the entryway, the parts guests see first. That's about social anxiety, about managing how others perceive them. The location tells you where their psychological energy is flowing back to first. The question that reveals everything. But you want to know the real diagnostic? It's not what they clean or how often. Ask them this. How do you feel after you clean? If they say relieved, lighter, like they can breathe again, that's restorative. The cleaning is actually helping. If they say nothing really, or do it while listening to a podcast without thinking, that's autopilot. It's maintaining, which is fine, but there's no emotional charge. If they say, I don't know, I guess I should do more, or immediately see what they missed, that's anxiety. The cleaning isn't resolving anything. It's just temporarily quieting the internal critic. And if they say good and then actually sit down, maybe make tea, maybe call a friend, that's someone whose energy is coming back online. What this all actually means. I spent years misunderstanding this. I thought a clean home meant a healthy person. I thought mess meant someone was falling apart. But what I've come to understand is this. Your home is a conversation between your current self and your environment. And like any conversation, the most important part isn't what's being said, it's whether anyone's actually listening. A person's space becomes chaotic when they stop believing their actions matter. When the gap between I should do something and doing something will make a difference becomes too large to cross. And recovery, real recovery, starts appearing not when everything is suddenly perfect, but when someone demonstrates this small, revolutionary belief. If I do this one thing, it will improve my life in a way I can feel. That might be washing one dish, it might be opening one window, it might just be moving the pile from the chair to the floor so they can actually sit down. The size doesn't matter, the belief does. The only metric that matters. So if you want to understand where someone is or where you are, don't look at whether the house is clean. Look at whether the person still believes that caring for their space is worth the effort. Not because someone might visit, not because they should, but because on some level they still think they deserve to exist in a space that feels okay to them. That belief is everything. When it's gone, that's when you know someone's really struggling. When it comes back, even in the smallest way, that's when you know they're finding their way home. Not to a clean house, to themselves.